Decentralization of government has been an important government agenda for most developing countries around the world over the last 50 years. It's a reform that's been attempted in the countries in order to make sure that they improve the quality of services, basic services that's being delivered to the people in the countries. Papua New Guinea has also been part of this reform agenda, and since independence has trialed decentralization of government. The first and has attempted three reforms through changes in the organic law. The first attempt was made in 1976, immediately after independence. The second in 1996. And the third in 2014. The objective of these reforms have been to try to improve the delivery of basic services in Papua New Guinea, improving healthcare, improving roads, bridges, and improving education systems, etc. However, to date we've had many concerns expressed by people across the country in terms of the availability of basic services and the breakdown of basic services across the country. Many people are unable to speak their minds, but with the introduction of social media, we've been able to see pictures of broken bridges, roads that are in disrepair, and also of pregnant mothers and injured people, children and so on, trying to reach health services, people carrying them, and the hardships that people are facing across the country. We all agree that we need to improve basic services delivery, and decentralization is the important agenda or vehicle through which basic services can be delivered. Many have offered their own solutions. Many of our leaders, and recently through the Electoral Boundaries Commission, people have expressed a desire for more districts. Of course, more districts means more members of parliament, more public servants, and so on. Will that lead to improvements in basic service delivery? Others have also expounded that we need to allocate more funds to districts, local level governments, and provinces for improving basic service delivery. Of course, our budget for next year, the government has indicated that it's a 20 billion kina budget. Budgets over the last 5 to 10 years have increased in bounds and leaps, and yet we see, on the other hand, a worsening situation in basic service delivery. Will more money mean more improvement in basic services delivery? That may be a possibility, but we would have to analyze the situation, because as it stands now, more money allocated to government services has not seen improvements in basic services. The solution might lie elsewhere as well. The reforms to decentralized government system over the last couple of years have also had knock-on effects on other aspects of government, and maybe there are problems with that as well. We've seen the worsening performance of the National Parliament as an institution. Parliamentary committees have not been sitting to attend to public accounts issues. The government public service appointment committees and other oversight committees of the National Parliament that have not been working. Parliament itself did not meet regularly for some time until the Ombudsman Commission took the matter to court and directed that Parliament sit for the mandatory number of days that is required as per the Constitution. The cost of the public service has increased tremendously, and that's been a point raised by many leaders and also other commentators. Why has the public service increased? Maybe there are other aspects of governments that are not functioning, and so we've created more institutions to address those deficiencies, and we keep paying for all those extended arms of government to do what the other institutions are not doing. Take, for instance, the creation of the tenders committees, the creation of public, district and provincial treasuries. Those institutions have been created recently to address or try to address delivery of basic services. However, it costs to expand the government machinery. The Auditor General's Office has also indicated that they have not carried out audits of provincial and district level administrations since 2016. So does that mean that there are areas of weaknesses in terms of mismanagement of funds and public finances that has not been brought to the attention of the Parliament, and also to ensure that funds are being spent properly. So those are possible weaknesses that could be affecting. The other aspect is also the creation of district development authorities. The district development authorities are now also recruiting additional personnel to undertake work that the public servants in the districts could be performing. And so we hear of different people being put on the payroll and the payroll being increased. Is that a result of the expanded public service in the districts? We need to have a conversation on why basic service delivery is not being done as effectively as we would want to have it. Leaders have also called for more autonomy. East New Britain, New Ireland, Anga, and other provincial governments can see the problems of poor basic service delivery in their regions and be given more responsibility in terms of decision making, in terms of financial decision making to address those issues. However, the issue of decentralized forms of government through amended organic law have not been addressed properly by the national government today. We are aware that basic service delivery is a problem. We are aware that there are problems with our government machinery that is supposed to deal with service delivery, and decentralization, an effective decentralized government system is the way to go in terms of trying to improve our basic service delivery. What we need to do is, there are some disagreements on the design of that decentralized form of government that we need to have some conversations around. The National Parliament, when it approved the District Development Authority Act in 2014, also directed the Constitutional Law Reform Commission and the Provincial Affairs Department to undertake a review and make recommendations for an improved decentralized systems of government. That report was concluded in 2015, and the draft organic law is before Parliament at this point in time. However, there are major disagreements on the design and the different components that are proposed in this organic law. The organic law is before Parliament. There are disagreements about what is contained in the organic law. We need to have a process where we bring all the different stakeholders to come together and discuss the elements so that we can come to some agreement on what are the key elements of this new decentralized arrangement that we want to see. The Constitutional Law Reform Commission and the PNG report of 2015 make two very important points. The first observation they make is that the decentralized government system is no longer viable to deliver effectively basic services, and a new system is needed. They also make the observation that the organic law has been amended so many times that it has lost its original purpose and meaning for a decentralized government system. What we need to do is now have conversations to discuss the proposed organic law and other aspects of a decentralized government system, including the overall governance framework, because we will be celebrating 50 years of independence in a few years' time. It's probably now the appropriate time to look back and look at the overall architecture of government, within which decentralization of government is one piece of that government arrangement, and look at how it addresses basic service delivery, and then what other aspects of government in terms of parliamentary, in terms of the independent institutions like the public service, the Auditor General, the Ombudsman Commission, and so on, the whole administrative system can support an effective decentralized government system that can provide basic services delivery across the country. And so what the National Research Institute has done is establish this research program to allow for a national conversation on what are the key elements that are being proposed in the new organic law. Why do some parts of our community, our society, do not agree with the proposed organic law? And we understand that many of the provincial governors have disagreed with that proposed law. There are, of course, some weaknesses in the way the process was facilitated. The organic law was drafted by CLRC, and it's more of a technocratic approach to reform. Should we also now bring the politicians through a discussion so that we can now find some common issues and common solutions to the proposal and make some necessary changes so that it then moves on to the next stage to be an organic law. In the process of starting that conversation at the National Research Institute, we have identified key areas that we would like some discussions around. The Institute has commissioned researchers from Melbourne University, from an Italian institute that specializes in decentralization, and also other local academics to contribute to the discussions. We've also invited governors, politicians, and political party leaders and other bureaucrats to come and contribute to the discussions at the national conference. We hope that those discussions will lead us to better understand what issues that we need to address in terms of having an effective decentralized systems of government that will lead to better service delivery. And the most important thing to address at this conference is how do we put a mechanism in place that will effectively implement a decentralized policy. We can be talking and talking until the cows are home, but what we need to do is agree to a process. And so at the conference, what we would like to put to government is the government to agree to a process that will review the current decentralized system of government, review what the new organic law that's been proposed and is sitting before Parliament, and then make recommendations for government to attend and for the people to take note, and for an effective organic law that will be passed, considered and passed by Parliament.